Hi friends, it's Jess with our Bipolar. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, just a little bit about me. I have bipolar 1 and I was diagnosed 26 years ago when I was a sophomore in college. Today is kind of the follow-up to the last video about having hypomania, and in that video I talked about, what possibly caused it and how I was acting and what I was doing to try to get out of it. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what has happened since that video. So if you want to go back and watch it, please do. I'll link it here. And just kind of the lessons learned. But before we get into that, I will ask you to subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment, all the things. Please do all that. I think I'm still kind of in Hypomania. I do think it's winding down, and some people have commented like, wow, you really can tell when you're going into these episodes and like you are able to notice all these different little things that's going on, the warning signs, and also going into the episodes. And that is due to, I think, a couple things, and not everyone's going to be able to do this. So for me, and I don't know if this is typical, but when I got on lithium, my episodes like stretched out. So I was able to not only have longer episodes, which sounds worse, but it's actually better because the hypomania is longer, so I can kind of catch it before going into mania. And just like the warning sign time for hypomania is longer. So that's how I'm able to pick out all those little warning signs. But also, I've had this a really long time. I was diagnosed with bipolar 26 years ago. So I've had a lot of time to notice things, think about it, all that stuff. Okay, so what has happened? A lot has happened. And the biggest thing that's happened is I have noticed that this hypomania is different than most of mine. Now, I tend to go into the dysphoric hypomania with extreme irritability being like the biggest sign of it being dysphoric. This time it's just been different. And so it taught me like it can be different. I'm not having the extreme irritability. I wouldn't say it's euphoric either. It's more euphoric than I would say dysphoric most of the time. But then I started going into some extreme anxiety. Like the other day, I took the day off because it was like my heart was kind of racing and I was feeling shaky, kind of like I have performance anxiety. It kind of felt like a lesser version of that. So that was different for me, maybe not for you. I've been having a lot of intrusive thoughts. I don't remember that happening in hypomania usually. I think that's more in depression, and that can just happen outside of episodes, at least for me. But it's really been dialed up, like super dialed up for me. And I'm not going to give a trigger warning because I'm not going to go into it, but it is all of my childhood trauma stuff that I'm having intrusive thoughts about. It's been plaguing me quite a bit, and in my everyday life, I have those thoughts sometimes, and I've gone through therapy, I've done EMDR, so it's like stuff that I've dealt with, but it doesn't disappear. It's not like it's been removed from my brain like in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I wish it could be like nothing ever happened, but that's not life. So that's been going on, and again, that's not something I typically deal with in hypomania, but I have been dealing with that. So it's been like a week and a half since that last video. So like 2 weeks total of hypomania. That is not typical for me. I mean, like I said, I'm still kind of in it. I think it's winding down. Usually hypomania lasts a lot longer, like at least a month. Could be more. So I am hopeful. And one way I can tell that I do think it's winding down is, so I took, not yesterday, but the day before, off work because that's when I was feeling all that anxiety, and I just felt like I needed a day where my brain didn't have to like think that much and work that much. And if you want to go back, there's another video I did about hypomania warning signs where I also talk about, it's not exhaustive, but it talks about signs of hypomania as well. If you want to see a little bit more about that, I'll link it right now. But I was feeling really distracted, scattered, you know, my brain, things are like sped up. The thoughts are racing a bit, not like in mania for me, but definitely faster. And before that, I had not been getting as much done at work, and I just needed a day off. So I did that. And then when I went back yesterday, I actually got a lot of work done, like, and not in a haphazard, distracted way. Like, I was able to focus and get stuff done. And I also had, you know, maybe the anxiety was because I had this project to do. It's actually a video presentation I had to do for this poster we had done for this conference, which was like something I never done before at all. And, you know, when I have to do things for the first time, especially at work, I do tend to get pretty anxious. So maybe that's where all the anxiety was coming from, even though I just like didn't really know what was going on. My body was feeling it. So that could be it, but I do think it was heightened because of the hypomania. My sleep. So let's talk about that. So I had still been taking the extra Seroquel, the antipsychotic I take. I had been taking that to kind of be a rescue med to treat the hypomania, like I've talked about before. And I was still taking it, but there were a couple days where I was definitely feeling like I had taken too much. That can be a good sign for me that things are sort of winding down and ending, because I'm actually feeling tiredness from the Seroquel as opposed to just feeling fine or like I need more of it to sleep. I got a little bit lucky last weekend, and you know, it's been raining so much here in Pittsburgh that all of my daughter's softball games got rained out. So it was sort of like a little bit of a relief because I really wanted to go. I didn't want to not go because of the hypomania, even though sometimes I feel like I should do that. But, you know, all the games were canceled, so I didn't have to make that call, like, should I go, should I not go? And then I did have actually a musical that I went to last weekend. Yes, under normal circumstances with hypomania, I would like cut out all social events. But this was the musical. It's called Come From Away, and it's my favorite musical. You can look it up. But I found out about the show coming like almost a year ago, and I had to set an alarm to get tickets in December. So like I've been looking forward to this for a really long time. And so I just decided I was gonna rest up as much as I could. And under other circumstances, if I had gone further into hypomania or mania, I would not have attended. I would have just sold my tickets. But I was able to go, so that was great. And I don't think it really pushed things along more, like made me go farther into hypomania. And it was good to be able to go. But again, I understand if in these kind of situations, you would not do that. And I just sort of had to make the call. And in the end, I was happy with that call. This is a little bit out of order, I know, but like I said, the lessons learned, definitely episodes can be different. They can not be the same as they usually are. This time, like I said, there was all that anxiety, there was the intrusive thoughts, and I still don't know if it was dysphoric or euphoric overall for the hypomania, but it was less dysphoric for me. I did not have the irritability constantly there and just about every little thing being annoyed. There were times I was annoyed, and more so than I would normally be outside of an episode, like when I'm in euthymia, but it wasn't at all to the level it normally is. So that was great. Other lessons learned. So you have like all these ideas before you start these videos, and sometimes I write things down and sometimes I don't. But even when I do, I always leave things out. And I'm still a little heightened, you know, like I think I'm doing better, but I'm not going to remember everything. And it's just sort of the way it is. But that was the big lesson, the overarching lesson was that, you know, episodes can be different, episodes can change. And yeah, I'm glad to be doing somewhat better, but I will be so happy when this is completely over. I go back to my normal, boring life. All right, well, tell me what you think. Tell me about your episodes, if they ever change or surprise you. And thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.